Blog Talk Radio.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Crossfire the Crusader, and welcome to Superhero Academy, the show where everybody has something to teach and everybody has something to learn. And this week we have a very special, very kind of fun show. Nice to kind of lighten things up of some of the shows that we've had recently. We're going to be talking with our very own gadgeteer extraordinaire, Artisteroi. You know, if you're a fan of the genre, you know that James Bond has Q and Gilligan has a professor. Well, this is the gentleman who does our gadgeteering, and he's going to share with us some interesting insights this week into what should be on a real-life superhero's utility belt. Artisteroi, take it away. Tell us what you got here.
Hello there, Crossfire, and everybody out there listening. I'm Artisteroi. Good to be on the radio with you.
Good to have you. Well, you know, as we get started, tell us how did you get involved in the real-life superhero community to start with, and how did you decide to become a gadgeteer?
I got involved whenever my wife signed me up for Facebook, and she kind of twisted my arm and said, do Facebook, and I really was not wanting to do that. But since I had the account open now, I looked up some old friends, and one of my old friends, Corey Schaubert, that I've known for 20 years and have been out of contact with him for a very long time. I looked him up, and lo and behold, he was going by the moniker of Mega Rad. And he kind of drugged me into this real-life superhero universe. And, you know, in the course of getting reacquainted, I had told him that I had been to college for engineering and currently hold a position at an engineering firm. And he asked me if I could start building some gadgets and stuff. And one thing led to another, and soon I was building gadgets for lots of people.
Yeah,
so,
you're also a member of Team Justice, correct?
Yes, Team Justice. I spoke to a superhero online for several months, and then found out he lives within 6 blocks of me. So literally, I can walk to his house in 15 minutes. So that was a bit of a surprise. And after that, I started going on missions with him, and I went to the Christmas mission and a few other things. And we've got a mission coming up in a couple weeks, actually, a big thing coming up. And you know, and so member of Team Justice. So that was pretty cool too.
We interviewed him the first couple of weeks we were here, and Master Lady is just a hoot, you know. And I can't imagine a dull moment around him. And
oh no.
Woman's also a member of Team Justice now, isn't she?
Pardon?
Is it Major Woman now also either member or honorary member of Team Justice?
Yes, she's an honorary member of Team Justice as well. She's up in Atlanta, and the core members were up there a couple weeks ago and got to hang out with Danger Woman and a few others, Crimson Fist and Metadata. while they were up there. I didn't get to go. Had work and all the mundane things to do.
Well, got to pay the bills. That's important.
Yeah, gotta pay the bills.
Yeah. On topic, the question I asked when I asked you to be on the show is, if you could design the perfect RLSH utility belt, what items would you put on it, starting with the basic and moving up into some of the more creative gadgets you might build for it?
Yeah, well, as I started researching that question, it occurred to me that there are different categories of RLSH, and each one of those categories would have different items on their utility belt that they would find most useful for whatever they were doing. Like for instance, the people who work with the animals, like kaiju and flora, they don't need handcuffs and stuff like that. So they're animal people, so their utility belt would focus on animal type things. And but there are some essentials that would be on every utility belt. So I think the essentials, of course, you got to have a phone. That's a primary, and it should be programmed with all of the local emergency numbers from fire department, the police, some backup numbers even, highway patrol, very, very broad range of emergency numbers that you should have on speed dial, or at least on your contacts list on your cell phone. And everybody should have that. Pardon?
My experience on those numbers is you should put those like an A for the first part of the name, so it comes to the top of your list of numbers. And use the non-emergency numbers, because if you dial 911, you risk actually being sent to a different city.
Exactly. Exactly. You want the local numbers. You want the local numbers.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and I think I have 3 or 4 different sheriff departments where I live at, and the area where I drive around a lot at. I don't do a lot of patrols with Team Justice, although I do plan on going out on the next one whenever we're in town, which will be a couple weeks, I think. There's about 3 counties here, so I have the sheriff department from each of those counties on my phone. So depending on which county I'm in, I can pull it up fairly easily.
And I would think that having a camera on the phone is also a big one.
Yes. A camera is the very next thing on my list. Most cell phones have cameras on them. A lot of times they're not the best cameras in the world. So you want to have that one, but if you can get a little point and shoot, something that's 8 or 9 megapixels, that is really a better option to have with you. Simply because it's going to take a better picture, and it's going to give you more detail. If you take a picture with your cell phone of somebody across the street, and once you've blown it up on your computer, it's a little grainy, looks like an alien, and that doesn't help. So unless you've got a really good phone, a really good camera on your phone, you want to have a backup camera with you.
One thing I've learned with cameras too, and doing security around the places I work, is that it's an advantage if you have it set up so you could email that picture to an email account immediately.
Yes.
That way, if something were to happen and then your phone were to be damaged, or they were to, you take a picture of 10 guys breaking into a car, all of a sudden they're breaking into your head still on your phone. At least the evidence has been sent to your email account.
Exactly. Yes.
Now that's the worst case scenario, and it may be a little paranoid, but that's a good thing to if you're looking at that situation, you don't want to put yourself out there to get the evidence and have it lost and you be injured and such like that. Also, so anybody that it does this kind of work, that's highly recommended. If you can take a picture of a license plate of a suspicious vehicle or something along that line, email it immediately to yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, if you have the ability to program your phone to email the photos to you immediately, you definitely want to be able to do that. So it's really best to have a smartphone.
Yeah. Actually, you can also set up your phone through your Yahoo account, your Yahoo Messenger, where you can have somebody acting as an oracle through Messenger and just send it back and forth like a normal chat message, and you can send pictures to them and information to them that way also.
Yep, that would be very very good too. If you're working in a team, you should have your phone set up so that it emails everybody in the team. That way there are multiple copies of it and everybody knows what's going down.
Now, who knew a phone was such an important piece of information? Because, you know, Batman never carried one.
I don't think they existed whenever Batman was on TV. And
if anybody had, would have been Bruce Wayne, you know?
Yeah. Well, there was one in the Batmobile. I do recall that.
Big red one, wasn't it?
Yeah, he often made calls to Commissioner Gordon from the Batmobile. So yes, I do recall that. And,
all right. Well, you know, aside from the phone and of course the camera, where would we go from there? What's the next best thing to have?
Superhero told me a couple weeks ago, and we were on the subject of going out on missions and stuff, and I was talking about how there's different types of RLSH, there's crime fighters, and there's the charity people, and I was saying how I was a charity guy and he was a crime fighter. And he told me, and this is a very good piece of information that everybody wants to take to heart, he said, if you're going to go out in costume, eventually you will fight crime. Regardless of what your mission is, you will fight crime. It will come up. So, and, I took that to heart. So the next thing that's going to be on the utility belt is a stun gun. Everybody should have one. If it's legal in your area to have it, you should have it. Because you never know what you're going to run into.
When that electricity pops, all the nonsense stops.
Yep. Absolutely. And you don't want to be brandishing it around, but you definitely want to have it easy access. So if something does go down, you can just grab it real quick and use it, and don't pull it out and threaten people and say, hey, you better back off, I'm going to stun you. Don't do that. That's
you don't want to be kicking people around on the news with it then, I guess.
Exactly. A stun gun is a weapon. It's a less than lethal weapon for the most part, but things happen all the time. People die from stun guns because they've got weak hearts or whatever. But it's a weapon. Treat it like a weapon. Respect it like a weapon, and it's not a toy. But you should definitely have one with you.
My advice is keep it in a separate part of the belt completely from your phone. It's really easy to reach in and grab the wrong device.
Yes.
My wife had her stun gun laying on my desk next to my cell phone, and I nearly hazed myself one day trying to answer the phone.
Well, my recommendation is to not actually keep it on your belt. If it came with a holster, you pretty much don't want to keep it in a holster because that's going to bind it up whenever you try to get to it. You want to keep it easily accessible in your jacket pocket or your jean pocket, or someplace where you can just nonchalantly get a hold of it without having to fiddle with a snap or a lace or anything like that. You want to be able to grab it quickly.
I'm in the chat room here, and Napu, he has mentioned personal body alarms. When I did private security patrol up in Little Rock, I had a body alarm that I kept on my, it was a keychain alarm that I kept on my belt, and anytime anything happened, I could flip that switch, and I've got a siren going off the whole time any incident's going down.
Yep.
Those are actually pretty inexpensive and easy to add to a belt, and not a bad idea whatsoever.
Well, the stun gun that I have is made by Scorpion, and it has a built-in alarm. So as soon as you turn it on, the stun gun itself is making this loud, piercing noise, and and then you can fire it. So as soon as it's activated, it's making sound, a lot of sound.
That's the blast knuckles. I'm not familiar with those. I saw that Motormouth used instead of blast knuckles. Those look pretty neat.
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen pictures of them. I haven't seen any personally, but to me, it appears to be a stun gun that wraps around your hand so that you can hold on to it better. So it's designed sort of like brass knuckles, but if you actually hit somebody with it, you would probably break them, because I hear that they're not strong. They're just designed so that you can hold on to it, and the firing mechanism is on the knuckles of it.
I mean, it seems a lot more practical in some ways. They are a little hard to hold on to sometimes, and they're just not built for hand-holding very well. Now, we talked earlier, I mentioned things like a Leatherman tool and such like that. You never know when you might need a small tool to just, something simple as cutting a tie off of, cutting an animal loose that's tangled in a fence or anything like that.
Yes.
That's one thing. Go to the automotive section of Walmart and pick up some small tools that fold and fit into a belt. You can almost have an entire tool set in one pouch on your belt.
Yes. And I carry a Leatherman's tool myself. That's actually in my assistance category. I've divided this up into categories. There's essentials, first aid, search and safety, and assistance. And I put the Leatherman's tool, the multi-tool, in assistance. Now, I've got a pretty nice one myself. It has, if I can find it, it's a Winchester. It's made by Winchester, the rifle company, and it actually has a really nice Leatherman's tool and a set of sockets on it. It's got an extendable screwdriver with a hex head fitting on it, and there's a set of sockets that goes with this. So not only is it a Leatherman's tool, but it's also like a socket wrench. And I've used it many times to repair bicycles and stuff like that. So it's quite a handy tool.
It's amazing how much they can fit into that little deal. I mean,
yeah.
I consider it almost a step up for the Swiss Army knife.
Yes. I also have a Swiss Army knife. I try to be prepared whenever I need a tool.
Well, with the blade from the Swiss Army knife, you've about got it covered. Anything beyond that is well,
the only thing that I don't like on a Leatherman's tool is usually, and not always, I've seen some nice ones that have it figured out, but usually the blade, there's a knife blade on it, and almost always the blade is nearly impossible to use because of the size of the handle of the Leatherman's tool. So once you've unfolded the blade, you pretty much can't use it because the knife itself is too big. So I carry a Swiss Army knife also, so that I can use smaller blades. So that's just me.
And in the chat room, they have brought up, of course, pepper spray. It's always a good thing.
Yes,
keep on
pepper
your
spray.
belt. I recommend that. Not as much for people as for animal control.
Yes.
It's a harmless way to deter a vicious animal.
Yes, if you if you're in an area where there's a lot of dogs, and there's feral dogs everywhere. If you're in an area where there's stray dogs around, especially at night, you definitely want some pepper spray as a deterrent. So, and that can be.
I have been known to use. I have a wrist lock slingshot, and for a wild dog, I would use like a super ball, a rubber ball, and a slingshot, because it will not break skin. It doesn't hurt them, but it will get the point across that you need to leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I don't do that a lot, but it's just like, it's better get bit.
Right. Well, I haven't had the misfortune of having to patrol at night yet. I've made only day patrols so far. I've got one coming up though, and we shall see what becomes of that. After I've done that, I will see how much more tools I actually need. And
yeah. I may have to get you to put a blog up. We're about 9 minutes out. The show's winding down, and we could probably go on this for about 2 hours from the sound of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm probably get you to just scratch some ideas out. We'll put it on the blog and get you back on here another day and talk about it some more.
Okay.
Good news is for my listeners, I am talking to some people and trying to see if we cannot find a sponsor for the show to get it back up to the hour-long or maybe 2-hour-long program that we used to have, so we could go into these subjects more in depth.
Okay.
I do want to throw out my usual plea to everybody for the Heart Heroes. If you go to the Superhero Academy show page, you'll see the link to Heart Heroes and Power Capes. We are asking everybody to support Heart Heroes by donating capes for children that have congenital diseases of the heart. It costs about $25, and the cape, they're given a card where they can design their own cape from Power Capes. It's sent to them, and what it does, it helps them find their inner hero to be able to face against the massive amounts of surgeries that they have to have in order to survive, facing that enemy that is trying to kill them. And it's amazing what something as simple as just a simple, shiny, cloth cape can do for these children, because it helps them find that strength that they need to face this enemy. So if you please do go to the show page and support Heart Heroes. That is our pet cause here on Superhero Academy. Silver Sentinel had texted me earlier. I do need to cover the real quick. The Silver Seal of Approval this week, as we're talking about animals, is he is giving the Silver Seal of Approval this week to animal rescue workers and animal rescue volunteers. So if you are working in that area, we do give you a salute from the Real Life Superhero community, Silver Sentinel, and from Superhero Academy. So we got about 7 minutes.
Team Justice as well.
We've got about 7 minutes left here before we're going to go off the air. So let me get right back to you and kind of give us a speed through of the rest of the items that you would say put on the belt.
All right. Let's see. Again, the essentials. You need a phone, a camera, a stun gun, and a pair of binoculars. For first aid, you're going to want all of your emergency numbers and notes. You're going to want some tweezers, Band-Aids, first aid tape, rubber gloves, and antiseptic wipes. And, that's just the bare minimum right there. I'm sure there's 1,000 other things that I've missed. For search and safety, you're going to want a flashlight, handcuffs, pepper spray, probably more things. And for assistance, you're going to want a Leatherman's tool, auto assist phone numbers, like for various auto parts stores and what have you and stuff like that, AAA. You're going to want a pocket knife and probably a magnetic picker tool. And that's what I've got on my list so far. And I'm sure there's many, many, many more things. I'm actually thinking that it might be better to have a utility backpack than a utility belt. The only problem with a backpack is that it's on your back. I got to figure out some sort of gadget that'll swing it around in front of you so that you can get your stuff out.
Like a bandolier, like the old banditos.
Yeah.
The Westerns have the across the front.
Yeah, that might work pretty good. I'll have to think about that.
You could actually incorporate that into the backpack using the straps from the backpack as more pouches.
Yes. That's pretty good. Oh, you could do it like maybe I can work it out like the Batman utility belt was in the first Batman movie, and it had the little motor in it that would bring items around to the front. But anyhow,
what is the number one dream technical gadget that if you could go to James Bond's assistant or the professor from Gilligan's Island, what would you have them build and put on your belt? What would you like to build?
Nobody's ever asked me what I wanted to build before. Gee, I really don't know. I've got so many things that I would love to be able to build, but I don't think any of them would actually fit on a utility belt. For instance, I'm working on alternate power sources. I've been working on that since I was in college. I actually did my thesis in college on alternate power sources, and I've been working on that for ages now. So maybe someday I'll figure it out. So that might be something that could be built into a backpack or into a utility belt that would power all your devices and not actually use any electricity or anything like that. So.
Well, what about the feasibility of something like a microphone, but kind of like a megaphone type system built into the belt with a speaker and a headset microphone attached to it, where you could actually, press a button and your voice would just boom out there. Hey, you, stop messing with that dog or whatever,
Yeah, a PA system. I think Eon uses something similar to that now. I'm not sure how well it works. I haven't seen any video of him actually using it, but I have heard him mention it. That he has, it's like a little microphone that he clips to his collar, and it plugs into a little PA amp on his belt. But, I don't know how good it is or anything, but...
See, the other two things that I would think, we've got about 3 minutes, so here in about 2 minutes I'm going to switch over to our end music, but strobe lights have been thrown out as a kind of distraction type thing. I don't know how practical that would be on a belt. But also, I think Zimmer's the one that uses a video camera that clips to his costume, his shirt, to film kind of a point of view of what's going on when he's out doing stuff. If you look at anything like that.
Yeah, I know that you had mentioned the karaoke belt that you wanted to build, for your kids and stuff whenever you go out and do your clown work. So, and I thought that was a really, really good novel concept that I wouldn't mind actually working on. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it seems to me like you said, there's so many variations. You look at the old TV series of Batman, who pulled everything from a '57 Chevy to a Bat Sharker something out of his belt whenever he needed it. But, the serious practicality is that a belt gets heavy real quick. But at the same time, it's amazing the amount of stuff that you can fit on there without adding weight to it. The more I study it, the more impressed I am.
This is true. I think probably the most important thing to do whenever you're designing your utility belt is to pay attention to what your mission is and then get items that are appropriate to your mission. I think that's probably the best thing that any RLSH could do whenever they're investing in one of their primary pieces of equipment.
So I definitely would agree. Yes, like I told you in conversation offline the other day, I could see having 2 to 3 different belts. This is for mission A. This is for mission B. This is for mission C. We're going to be out visiting a hospital.
Yeah.
You'd want to play music, and for me, balloon animals, such like that, because you're in a non-combat type of thing. But if you're out looking for, like the Extreme Justice League, out looking for the growth rate, stuff like that, you want to have some security type stuff with you. It just varies from mission to mission what all you would need. It's got to be modular and easy to put together. Well, Artisteroi, I've got about 1 minute. I want to thank you for being on here. Everybody, if you'll stay after on the podcast, I'm going to kind of go over what's coming up in the next few weeks. Thank you for being on. And here's our ending theme.
We're men in light. We roam around the forest looking for light. We're men in tight. We run from the rich and give to the poor, that's right. We may look like cities, but what would you say, or else we'll put after life? We're men in tight. Always out from the rich and give to the poor, that's right. We may look like candy, but don't get us wrong or else we'll flag your lot. We're men in tights, tight. Always on guard, defending the peaceful cry. When you're in a fix, just call for the men in tights. We're Butch.
You know, I love that end song.
I love that too.
Puts everything back in perspective. If you're going to do something like this, you got to have a sense of humor about your life and what you're doing. You know.
Absolutely.
You know, you got to remember that you were just out there nutty crazy to do things like this, whether it's clowning, whether it's a real life superhero, whatever it is. If you're going to be out there in a costume trying to impact the world, even if just making people laugh, you got to be able to laugh at yourself. If you take yourself too seriously, I think you're going to lose this. I do want to touch base. Artisteroi, I want to thank you. I wish we'd had more time because it sounded like to me you could have filled 2 hours of good information here, which is what I expected. We'll try and get you back on here maybe in May or June, and let's talk about tricking out your Supermobile. How does that sound?
Oh, awesome.
Oh yeah, put some ideas in your head. You're fixing up the new Justice Mobile. What do you want to put on it? Well, how does 12th of June sound for you?
Actually, I've been into tricking out cars for quite some time, and I got a little, it's not much. It's a Kia. My car's a Kia, but it's
let me date back. 12th of June is actually going to be the live show from the Superman Festival. I'm hoping to have Superman and the Sentinels on there on the 12th of June. Let's look at the last weekend of June and see if we can design the ultimate Batmobile for that weekend. And I will see if we can't have things worked out. We can have a 2-hour show by then. Not trying to get a sponsor in line, but.
All right. So let's say tentatively the middle of June then?
26th of June.
26th.
Yeah, we're going to pencil you back in for a return show.
All right, sure, no problem. Let me write that down on my calendar.
I've got you penciled in here, and I'll remind you, and we'll talk about trick your Supermobile.
All right, cool. Well, we'll have to get a superhero on the line too. So he's got the ultimate Supermobile.
You want to get him your ideas?
What's that?
He's already got the fastest one. Do we want to give him too many ideas? All right. Next week, people, we're going to be talking about disability activism with Danger Woman. It's going to be a fun, exciting, no-holds-barred show, I'm sure. The following week, we're going to have Urban Avenger talking about the Extreme Justice League and the hunt for the Chula Vista Groper, their recent community involvement and support of the mayor, where they're working at. It's just a really great story, a lot of information there. The 24th of April is Easter Sunday, and I'm going to be having a roundtable discussion with several Christian-themed superheroes like myself. We're going to be talking about my hero is the Lord Jesus Christ and Easter, and just in general the impact on the world that 133-year lifespan has had. It's just amazing, to me. I'm in awe. The following week, I am tentatively scheduled to have Geist in here talking about his coloring book project that he's doing. On the 8th of May, I am waiting for confirmation for a group of mothers who are doing a charity, awesome charity thing for kids with cancer. It's a group called the 44 Mothers Who Shave for the Brave. I've got to get confirmation on the lady that's going to do the interview. But the women that actually shave their head donate the hair to groups Locks for Love, and they do this publicly to show support for their kids who have lost their hair through the chemotherapy and such. On the 15th of May, we have the Crimson Fist will be on here. On the 22nd of May, tentatively going to have Zimmer of the New York Initiative talking about the work that they're doing. For Memorial Day weekend, we have Patriot coming in to talk about his mission. On the 5th of June, Stormbringer will be talking about animal rescue. And then, of course, the 12th of June, I will be broadcasting live from somewhere around the Superman Festival, and hopefully having Superhero of the Sentinels talking about what he does with the computer work and such like that. And I'm really excited about that. I've got some things I'm working on for Father's Day. I'm going to try and get somebody out here to talk about child ID kits on Father's Day, possibly someone from the Polycloth Foundation or the National Center for Missing and Endangered Children. Then again on the 26th, Artisteroi will be our return guest again, only the third person to be a return guest on Superhero Academy. And then on the 3rd of July, we're going to be doing something patriotic as we talk about the comic book Real Tales from Iraq. And the artist and writer Valerie Finnegan will be speaking with us about how they're taking the actual adventures of soldiers that are in the war zone, rescue workers from the 9/11 World Trade Center. They're putting it into comic books, and these comic books are being sold, and the money used to help the families and the soldiers that have been disabled as a result of these events. So we've got a full schedule all the way through the 4th of July. We're looking for a lot of interesting shows, a lot of fun. Again, I am talking to some people that are trying to help me find some sponsors to help pay the cost of tickets to premium. If we do, we'll be going to at least a 1 hour, preferably 2 hour format, and just taking advantage of all the time that we're paying for. And we may add I'm thinking about adding a show if time does permit throughout the week, doing like a floating show called the Midnight Oracle, where different superheroes out there on patrol can call in. We can just talk about what's going on, just kind of a loose visiting through the night type of show. So there's a lot going on here at the Superhero Academy, and we're going to take advantage of what Blog Talk lets us do. And Artisteroi, thank you again for being here.
You're welcome, Crossfire.
If you get a chance, write up everything that you were sharing here. Just kind of give a little idea. I will post that on the Superhero Academy blog, and I will actually take that over and put it on the RLSH.net also, just to pass on what we discussed about here, because this was a very good discussion. I want to thank you. You covered some very important stuff, and anybody that was expecting the bat grappling hook that sucks you up to the sky and the bat shark repellent was probably a little surprised at the simplicity of the tools that you need, but the power of just something as simple as a cell phone or a Leatherman tool to a mission like this. So thank you for being on here, and I look forward to having you on again.
All right, I look forward to it. This was a lot of fun.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you. You did a good job. Nothing to be nervous about, see? And everybody else, This is Crossfire the Crusader signing off for Superhero Academy. See you next week again, same cross time, same cross channel. I'll meet you on the high road. Good day.